And good morning. It's Friday, and today, well, it's the last day of February as it all comes to an end. There's no leap year this year, so if you're having a birthday on February 29th, do you and I'm not sure I know the answer to this. What day do you celebrate your birthday on? Today or March 1st? You got to pick one, so good luck to all y'all. We'll take birthdays from both of those. Make sure the inboxes are in the comments, and we'll be glad to get those on for you. Again, it's Friday. We are looking forward to a great show coming up. It's Fun Friday. The whole gang will be here beginning at 7 o'clock this morning. I hope you'll join us. We did have an accident a little bit earlier if you're traveling westbound out of Meridian near Meehan. Mile marker 124. It involves an 18-wheeler and at least one pickup truck. Use caution there as emergency officials are on the scene, and I'm sure a wrecker will be coming here in just a little bit. Mississippi Highway Patrol on scene as well. Use caution, and believe it or not, we've already started getting those reports of more brush fires. We'll talk about that coming up at 7 o'clock and some of the ways to cut back on this March winds that are coming in that'll make these little fires jump and run. And Hall, good morning. Karina, you're up as well. Miss LaWanda. LaWanda says those birthdays are celebrated on March 1st. Okay. There you go. That's what you're supposed to officially do if you've got a birthday on the 29th of February. Let's go to Collinsville now before we get into all what's going on across America. Let's go get a good word for the day. Let's go to Collinsville. Brother Ben's got our message today.
You know, in this world we live in, there are some natural enemies. They just naturally don't like each other. Like cats and dogs, foxes and rabbits, wolves and deer, coyotes and sheep, snakes and mice, crows and owls. They just naturally don't get along. One is out to get the other, and one avoids the other at all costs. Well, as we turn to today's word of wisdom, we see another set of natural enemies, the righteous and the wicked. We read in Proverbs 29:27, an unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, but the one whose way is straight is an abomination to the wicked. Have you found that to be true? Right? Righteous people can't stand wicked people. Wicked people mistreat others, oppress them. They do whatever it takes to get what they want, and they don't care how it impacts anybody. They blatantly reject God and His ways, and an unjust man is an abomination to a righteous man. But the feeling's mutual. Wicked people can't stand righteous people. They think righteous people are goody-goody and holier than thou. Their very presence shines a light on their sin and brings conviction upon them. They resent God and His standards, so they resent the righteous who follow God and live by His standards. But beloved, realize this. This enmity will not go on forever, because one day God will separate the righteous from the wicked. The righteous, which is every person who will trust in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and who are forgiven of their sins, they'll go to God in heaven. And the wicked, every person who dies unforgiven in their sins, will be separated from God and spend forevermore in hell. And then that enmity will be no more. Peace will reign in heaven and on earth. And I long for that day. I mean, don't you? But if you've never turned from sin and trusted in Christ, that day should scare you. I pray you'll trust in Jesus before it's everlastingly too late. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back as we embark on this Friday. And again, chilly this morning as we're at 35 right now. The temperature is going to nearly double there. Well, 73 is what we're going to get to later today. It'll be a nice day. We'll tell you all about the fishing calendar. What do you need to do to catch the most? We'll get into all of that. As often, I've always looked at celebrities. As a kid, my heroes were always cowboys. And I know you're thinking, oh, that was a song, but they really were. Always looked up to those guys at Matt Dillon and all John Wayne that were on TV. And well, as years went on, people started to look up to singers and things. You ever heard the term, I think I'd have just kept that to myself? Well, this is where I find this as I read this article. Anybody remember Rick Springfield? He had a great song. Y'all remember that? It was rock and roll, I guess, called Jesse's Girl. Well, he admits that he's got depression. Okay, there's nothing wrong with admitting you have depression. It's how he's been handling it. Now, this is the same stuff that took Matthew Perry's life, that drug, ketamine, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But he goes on that he battles depression, and here's what he quoted on this. I did acid, and that was actually a little better, he said. I hadn't done that since I was in my 20s, but it was a great high. I don't mean to push drugs on anyone, but I'm not adverse to trying anything that helps me be happier and a better person. I could use some help in that area, and I'm always searching. My. And again, I don't know about depression. I've never been in a situation like that to where anyone would try anything to try to come out of it. But my, oh my. Y'all pray a little prayer for old Rick Springfield. Rick's got to be in his late 60s by now. But that's a horrible place to be. I don't quite understand it. But y'all keep him in your prayers there. What's going on? 6-time deported gang member wanted for murder, busted in Texas as an illegal immigration sting happens.
No.
He is going to Guantanamo Bay, is where his next departure will be headed. That's what's going to happen there. Now, this is just, and I feel this, I run into them all the time. They are some very, very nice folks, especially here on the local level. DoorDash, do y'all know who I'm talking about? These are the folks that when you decide at 9 o'clock at night that you want a quarter pounder, they'll bring it to your door. And they get a little extra fee, and 90% of the time somebody gives them a little extra tip. Unless you were in New York. This is what the company done. In New York, the people that were getting tips, the company kept the money and didn't give it to them. They've been ordered, they've got to reimburse $17 million that they didn't pay out in tips. That was just wrong.
Yeah.
Why? Well, y'all know this, because some people are, it's based upon merit. As we all go out for lunch, if somebody's really good to us, we always pay a little bit extra. Why? Because they gave good service, and the next time you come in, they're going to remember that. They take care of you. Those tips were meant for the people that done that extra good job. Keep that in mind. Don't do the wrong thing in life. Whoa, we got a Democrat that's in trouble, and I cannot repeat what they said. Texas Democrat Republican Jasmine Crockett needs to be spanked by her mother. And I mean that because she said the ultimate dirty word when referring to Elon Musk.
Say that one more again.
Elon.
Democrat, Republican.
Democrat. Did I say Democrat, Republican? She said that about, I messed that up. Texas Democrat representative.
All right.
I misspoke myself there. But I got all confused because she said such an ugly word. You shouldn't do that. You are an elected official. And again, kids are watching social media accounts to where when things are handled live, they hear this. Set an example if you are an elected official. No matter where you are. If you're in a restaurant, watch what you say. It can be heard 2 to 3 tables later. Am I not right, y'all?
Yeah.
It happens. Kids don't forget that. You are a major influence on them. That bothers me. She shouldn't do that. I'm not sure if she'll apologize or not, but we'll see. Oh, Joy, do you pronounce her name? Joy Behar from The View. Behar from The View had to apologize. She also called Elon an ugly word this week, and she had to go back. Why? Not because she was sorry, but she had somebody speak in her ear and say, you've got to make an apology because we could be sued. And I forget the exact word that was used, but it was more or less calling him a South African slave owner is what she called him. And it was a big fancy word. I'd have to go back and look it up. But I had to Google it because I'd never heard it. And she goes, I have no way of proving that. Of course, he was born in South Africa, and he's made himself the richest man in the world. But she took a slur at him on national television. My, oh my, oh my. This is beyond. And we often say, wow, we got crime in America. A lot of times it goes back to the judicial system, how a judge interprets the law. Now, the law should be the law in all 50 states. If you kill someone, that is murder. I don't care how you do this. But a Houston police union has slammed a rogue judge for letting a man accused of killing a deputy out on bond. A law officer, a man that gave his life for our country in the line of duty, and the man accused of it has been given bond. Houston, Texas is where that is. Houston, Texas itself worries me, as we've seen is the word influx from other states that are now flocking to Texas. I'm afraid the values of Texas are going to be changed. Keep them in your prayers as you do those at night also there. I mentioned this yesterday, and they really didn't give a big enough explanation yesterday as to what was really going on. I mentioned a lady that had been harassing a Tulsa dealership. Well, this was in Colorado where it was going on. As we get more into this, she was caught with things that go whoof in a bag that she planned to plant at the dealership. That's disturbing. That's bad. She's been arrested. Nothing happened. Israel. We take a little trip abroad as we look at this. At least 13 people were injured after a car rammed into a bus at a bus stop. 13 people were injured. Thank goodness no one was killed. Now, I know people have probably done this through the years. Booby traps. Y'all know what I mean by that? Well, a family member, and we don't know who did this, a family member called a South Carolina man to go check on a home. Somebody may have broken into it. He went in the home and he went to the back door to check it. He pulled it. It was booby trapped. A shotgun went off. His life was taken. My, oh my, oh my.
That sounds bogus.
Yeah, it does sound bogus. Set up? Anybody? Could have happened there. Let's see what else is happening across the big wide world. Now, I had to look up these two brothers. I had never heard of them. Maybe Julia knows who she is. She's well-rounded in what's going on around the Tate brothers. Are y'all familiar with them? They're influencers that were in another country that were accused of having something to do with minors. DeSantis says you can go where you want, but we don't want you in Florida, as their plane set down in Florida. He can't stop them from coming. Only the federal government could. But he goes, Florida doesn't want you. I can't blame him a bit. That's the last thing you want in your state. We even have little registries where you can find out if they're near you. Each community's got that. You can look it up. We've got several Democrat states saying that if you were fired from the federal government, come on in. We'll hire you on the state level. We'll see how that goes. What's that now? They should do that. Good luck to them there. Al Sharpton was originally behind this. I don't think it's going to be a huge thing today. He had called for a boycott of major stores not to spend money today. I don't think it's catching on. There are some networks that are trying to push it hard. Cleveland, Ohio. I want to be sure about that. We're not talking about Cleveland and Kemper County. We're talking Cleveland, Ohio. Well, that is too, but we also have the Cleveland area over there in Kemper County too. They got a swimming pool, whole 9 yards. You can see it from the road on Highway 16. Yeah, football team. You hadn't been there? Julia's confused. But a Cleveland area, and this is one of those things where somebody happened to be there where they caught the video. The school bus burst into flames. All the kids were able to get off. There was absolutely nothing left of the bus. All students were evacuated, and they're okay. That's a terrifying nightmare for a parent, but they're all okay. All of these plane accidents, the transportation secretary says, now hang on now. Don't go be pointing a finger. Most of these are errors due to the pilots. Did y'all see the plane coming in this week when they showed the video? It was coming in, and then the other plane just taxis out in front of it?
Yeah.
It was close, and the plane went back up in the air. Everyone was okay, but, yep, if you're a pilot, pay close attention to what's going on. I don't know if y'all have watched this, but I watched this with intense of fear of a man, and his life was taken. One of the guys that was pardoned by Trump from the January 6th, J6 thing. He's pulled over for a traffic stop. The deputy calls him to the back of the car and explains to him that he was speeding. And he goes, I'll let you off on the ticket of speeding, but you're going to jail now because you are an abuser when it comes to driving and you don't have a driver's license. And the guy starts sweating and grabbing his hand. He goes, I ain't going back to jail. And you could tell, I don't know what happened to him while he was in jail, but he did not want to return to jail. And he kept on asking the deputy, I need a ride. And he goes, no, you're going to go to jail. And the guy takes off running toward the front of his car and yells at the deputy he's going to take his own life. Jumps in the front seat of the car, grabs a pistol, and the deputy ended it there. The deputy had no way of knowing whether or not he was going to fire at him or himself, and the guy's life was taken there. The deputy's been cleared of any wrongdoing. I've watched it over and over. But I've never seen anybody that had such fear of the word going back to jail. That is out there. Now, it doesn't go too far, and I'm not going to show it. It can be disturbing, but look that up today. It doesn't show what happens in the end. It just shows the deputy's reaction of how he had to take a stand in order not to lose his life. That's what those deputies face every day. And I certainly hate that guy thought it was that bad. Well, Miss Mexico, the president, she is deporting 29, if not 30, cartel figures back to the United States of America to face trial. They've been holding them, wouldn't let them come back. A lot of these guys are the same ones that have taken some of our law enforcement lives. They're going to face crimes now, the cartel.
He is a kind person.
Here's a sad note. At 113 years old, the oldest known Holocaust victim survivor has passed away at 113. Her name was, and I'm not sure I can pronounce her last name right, Rose Gueron. That's as close as I can get, but that's a sad day. She went through a lot. She survived. We've got a lot coming up. We're going to get into your weather forecast here in just a moment to talk about all this happening here as we get ready for the weekend. The Queen has arrived. Greg, do you remember the Queen of the Silver Dollar? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think of when I see Julia now. Mm. She's got a smoky hair.
A smoky what?
I'm trying to remember how we're going to listen to it in a second.
I can't wait.
It was how she sat on her bar stool and she was the queen. As the smoke circled around her halo. That's what it was. Yeah, that was good stuff. That was what's his name? I'll think of his name. Dave and Sugar, if I remember right. Ken Rainey used to play that song. Everybody knows it. Y'all come on, sing along with me in a minute. We'll check that forecast next.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes, and Garrett Sport exactly what you need. Habo shirts, long and short sleeve, also Hulk shirts, and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian. Welcome back as we begin our day. Let's get into our forecast.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at today's record highs and lows, it was 1981. Was Julia around then, is what many are asking. We're not sure. But it was 84. As we go back to 2002, we had a very cold day. It was 17, y'all. As we look across today, it's going to be somewhere between 72 to 73 wherever you're standing across East Mississippi and West Alabama. As we go north, a couple of degrees cooler across Columbus Air Force Base and pretty much 70 all the way down the Mississippi River. As we go east into Bama, a little warmer there as we see 74 in Tuscaloosa. Burmaland is 22. Even over in Auburn, we're looking at 72 degrees today. Now, here's what we want to warn you about. Days in advance. We have severe weather coming. Tornadoes are going to be likely Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And what we're looking at is a multi-state breakout. This could be in the neighborhood of somewhere around 100 tornadoes over 2 or 3 states that night. This is going to be one of those serious storms as it makes its way in to Mississippi. Now, as we look at this right now, we're already at a level 3 for Philadelphia. Anybody that's in Attala County, Scott County, you are in this Winston County, you are already at a level 3. Now, the Meridian area and anything east of Philadelphia is going to be a level 2 at this point. But we are days away from this. This could move up to a 3, it could move up to a 4 category. What we're telling you is tornadoes are very likely. Plan ahead Tuesday night if you live in a home that you feel is not safe, or if you don't have a tornado shelter, make plans to stay somewhere that does. That somebody could squeeze you in theirs. There's nothing wrong with asking. Not at all. Why? Because you live. That's the way it works. As we glance across this, same for Bama, there are level 2 all the way across the entire state of Alabama as we wait for this storm to approach. As we look at this, warmer temperatures across eastern Texas making its way here, which brings about today's forecast to be 72 to 73, 0% chance of rain. But as we look at Saturday, look at this, great, 73, 38 for a low. As we move into Sunday, a teeny bit cooler as we start getting ready for those storms, 65 and then 75 as the storms arrive, with a 50% chance at this point. It'll increase as those tornadic activities roll in late in the evening toward Wednesday morning, as we'll hit 72 later that day, 64 next Thursday is the outlook as we go to next Friday. 50% chance of showers. It says it right here, Julie. 50% there.
50 that it's not.
I'm going to beat you.
It's 43%. I fibbed just a little bit. But it is a 43% chance of what we're looking at. But that could change. It always does. Forecast that far out. Julia's panicking, y'all, over full moon on 5th. All the way through look at this, on the 14th of March, we're looking at 77, 78, 79. We're really at springtime weather at almost 80 degrees in March. My, oh my. Let's talk about fishing this morning. What's going on? The best time to be out there is going to be 11:47. Let's call it high noon until 2 o'clock is your best times to fish today. Sunrise happened at 6:22, and it looks like we'll have sunset this afternoon almost at 6 at 5:52. It's a great day. As we look at that, Bob said, well, there's a 56% chance that it's going to be sunshine, Julia. He's trying to help you there.
I hope not at 9.
Come on now.
It's cold out there now. You better grab a jacket.
Yeah, grab a jacket. Greg's giving his forecast. Julia's sitting in, let's just show everybody what she's wearing.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I know you're not ready. You got to do your hair and all oh, you've already done your hair. I'm sorry. Let me get back to what I'm doing over here before this woman goes upset at us. We're so glad to have her back. The show's going to begin in just a few minutes from now. We're going live. We're going to have a blast, and we certainly hope that you will join us for all this. Be kind to somebody today.
Yeah.
Yeah. She almost spit her coffee out. The Queen has arrived. We'll start the morning show starting directly at 7 o'clock. We got a cup of coffee to make. Well, okay, a pot.
Yeah, Miss Pat's pie to eat.
Oh, Miss Pat's pie. We got a pie to eat. We got a lot to do between now and 7. Let's get yours and join us back. Jerome Lee, how in the world are you doing today? Good to see you. We'll be back live in just a moment with all the happenings and news that's going on in the area next here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.